Okay, so for my next project in my 7 days of Halloween series, I thought I would use up some of my Halloween papers and bits and bobs that I've acquired. I was sent in Happy Mail and also purchased in the past. So I'm going to just try and create some standard sized ATCs, not the coins this time, the actual square ones. So they're going to be 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So that is 2.5 by 3.5, or in metric, if you're doing this in Europe or in Australia, wherever if you use metric, they're 64 millimeters by 89 millimeters. So that's the standard size for an artist trading card when you're doing the rectangle, not the circle. So I thought we would have a play at trying to use up some of these papers. So these are the Halloween abandoned Halloween papers from Tim Holt's Ideology, and we've also got the sticker book, the Curiosities sticker book, and I'm also going to be using the Halloween paper dolls because why not? So we'll be mixing and matching and seeing what fits on with these ones. This is a brand new pack, hasn't been opened before, and I'm hoping that there is sufficient teeny tiny ones where we don't have to cut these up too much. Actually, it doesn't look like there's lots of small ones in there, but we'll see. We will see what we've got. I may have to dip into a previous stash. Yeah, these are quite large ones, aren't they? Maybe have to dip into a older Halloween set to get the smaller ones, or maybe not even use them at all. Who knows? Let's just see what we can create by using up our bits and pieces in our stash. So what I've done is I've cut 6 pieces of black cardstock, and I've cut them at the size that I mentioned earlier, so the 2.5 by 3.5. But what I want to do is I want to create another layer out of the papers. So out of the abandoned papers, I pulled out this sheet and that sheet because I really love those kind of rusty, orangey, greeny colours, and I love that rusty kind of colour with that patina kind of thing. I think it does go quite well for Halloween. And I'm going to cut some bases for those cards out of this paper. So, and I'm going to cut them just slightly smaller, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around smaller, or 4 millimeters in metric. So in metric it's going to be 60 by 85 millimeters that I'm going to cut them at. So I'm going to do a strip all the way down that side. So we'll go 60 out this side, and then cut those at 85. Right. I have to be careful with my blade because on one side it's getting a bit blunt. So one side it's fine, the other side it's blunt. So I've got 2 pieces out of that one, so we'll do 1 more out of this paper, so we've got 3 out of each. That's a bit of spare, so let's use that bit out the top. We'll go 60 on that one and cut that at 85. So that's those 3 from that paper, and I'm going to cut down probably, let's try to cut from the top that way, so let's go 85 that way. Let's see if we can get 3 out this way at 60. That's 1, 2, yay, and 3. And then we can put those fragments to one side for later use. Okay, so let's just bring in my base cards, and then because I've cut these slightly smaller, you're now going to get a black border, a nice even border all the way around to be able to work on top of. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to grab some glue. I'm going to stick each one down. Hopefully, a bit hoarse this morning. I need to have a cup of coffee somewhere. That's nearly all gone. I shall probably have to nip and make another one in a moment. Okay, so we've got glue coming out of there now. Yes, we have. Good. So just quickly whip round. Because I'm using a kind of spirit glue, it does give me a little bit of wiggle room just to be able to position it and make sure that I've got an even border all the way around, and I've left it raggy on the black card because, you know, it's Halloween, and I need to do the same thing now for the other 5 pieces. So I'll just pop this onto fast forward and I'll whip through and just add the bases on, or the first layers. Oh, I really am getting a bit croaky, aren't I? Onto the remaining cards, and then I'll join back with you once I'm done. Okay, so that is pretty much all 6. I'm just going to go around just pushing down, making sure that they're all sticking, the corners are all as I want them. Perfect. Okay, we're ready for the next step. Okay, so they've pretty much stuck quite nicely now, but I should have actually gone around the edges there just to remove those white lines. So just to try and overcome that, I'm actually going to just go around each one now, just using Distress ink just to kind of grunge and darken those edges up. So again, this is just going to take a few minutes. But actually, I just thought of a different way of doing it rather than having to use the Distress ink going all the way around them. So what I've done is I've just tested it on one, and I'll show you exactly how it worked. So what I've done, as you can see, there's that white raw edge of the cardstock all the way around. Now, because I've laid it onto black, it's raised slightly, which means you can actually grab a black pen and just very gently run it down the sides, and it will guide itself. And there you go, raw edge gone. So it's going to be a lot easier just to do it that way than have to go around with Distress ink on every single one, and a lot quicker too. So I'll go off and finish doing these. Oh, so much easier. And I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so I've gone around each of the edges with that pen, and it's eliminated that white raw edge, which is a lot easier actually than going around with the Distress ink, but you know, you live and learn. Right, so let's just push those to one side and have a look at these stickers. So what I need is at least 6 images to start off with. So I'm going to use up some of these like kind of moth butterfly images. So I'll have 3 of those, and I'm taking them off and sticking them onto my craft mat. I'll have a couple of those insects as well, so they can go in there. Big bugs. Big bugs. There we go. So 3 of those. So we've got 6. Let's see, we're looking for stuff that we can layer. So we'll have those 2 tickets. Because these are already stickered on sticker paper, they're going to be a lot easier to use. And the exercise for this is pretty much is using up our stash. So one of those, so that, you know, it's not just sitting there. And it's okay saying, you know, oh, I've got these lovely stickers, but unless you actually use them, you know what I mean? So 2 of those will have, now should that have a hole in the middle? Yes. I think some of these should have holes in the middle. So as you can see, I'm just pulling out bits. That one shouldn't have a hole. So I need another 2 of those. Probably use, yeah, let's use the larger ones. Pop that hole out as well. Bit of a pointless exercise really, but yeah, what the heck. So we'll stick that one down there. And then I kind of like the keyholes as well, but there's only 5 keyholes, which is a bit annoying. So what I'm going to do is just probably put them onto a couple. And they're nice decorative ones, dark ones. Okay. So I'm going to start to build up these layers now. So let's have some of these bits as well. So we'll have that, and we'll have that one, the habit forming. Okay, so I'm actually going to start using these all at once, or all together. So we'll start building up the layers all together. Right, but before we do, I will grab that distressing and just go in with these, because I'm not particularly fond of that line all the way around, or the cutout all the way around. Let's just make it a bit darker. I'm using the archival distressing, in case you're wondering. So this is the permanent one. Let's just make them a bit darker. Just go around the whole, just a few, just, you know, infusing a little bit of colour, dark and grungy in it. I know they're dark and grungy already, just not dark and grungy enough. Just knock some of that white back. That's it. They look better. Okay, don't forget we've still got our little paper dolls to add to as well, so it's a little bit too bright, I think. Lovely. I've also got some book text, so I'm just going to rip that into just some random pieces, because I want to incorporate some book text into the background as well. I'm going to glue this down. This is just random book text. This is actually taken from Jules Verne's Journey to the Centre of the Earth, this page. So I did have an old copy of Gray's Anatomy, which I should have really used, but it doesn't really make any difference. It's only a small spot that we're going to be using, and I'm just going to tear them at angles. So I only want 6 really. So 3 pieces torn into 2. There we go, that should do it. Put those others to one side, and again grab the distressing and just grunge it up a little bit before we glue it down. So I'm going to put this into the background. Or should I? I'll tell you what, let me just grunge up all these lot and then I'll be right back, because this is not exactly interesting, is it? Okay, so there's all my 6 bits of book text. So I've also gone and got, from my paper doll collection, I've gone through, the paper dolls that I showed you earlier are all too big, so I've had to go through my other sets and pull out 6 smaller ones that I'm going to use on these ATCs, of course. Perfect size, and I've gone, apart from the witches, I've gone for kids, because I think kids are a bit more creepy at Halloween. What can I say? What can I say? And again, just to make sure, or just to add a little bit of extra, I just need to go around and remove all of the edges or as best we can. Just get rid of those raw edges all the way around. Just helps them blend in a bit better. So I'll go off and do that, and I think once we've got all our elements together, we're pretty much ready to start assembling en masse. There we go. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that is my cast of characters. I've kind of auditioned them on each of the papers so that I kind of know which ones I like them being on the best. So, and I'm kind of positioning them where I want them, so that I know where to start laying things down. So we've got those 2 kids there. And the beauty of this is you can actually turn them round, because there's nothing graphical about the backs, as in there's no writing, no text, no typography. There's a little bit of music there, but that's fine, there's only a little bit. So you can turn them upside down whichever way you want to go around. I'm going to do them all portraits, so they're all going to be tall rather than wider, rather than turn them that way, if you know what I mean. So they're all going to be this way. So I know whereabouts I need to start sticking things down. So I'm going to put down, first of all, the paper. So I'll just grab some glue, and I'm not bothered about getting it right up to the edges. So the first thing I'm going to do with this one is just stick that down there. So the paper dolls will be the last thing to get stuck down, but I'm leaving them in the position where I want them, and I'm going to start tucking and adding things underneath so that I know what the effect is going to be before it gets stuck. So I think we'll have that down at the bottom there. And then this next one, so I think that can go down there too. Okay, and of course I'm probably going to forget to talk whilst doing this. As soon as I start concentrating, I completely forget that you guys are here. Right, layer number 1. So again, it's just completely random. I've just gone through everything. The sticker book, just pulling up bits and pieces that I think will work with these characters that I want to introduce. There's no, I wouldn't say there's no real art to it, but it's just, people often say to me, oh, I don't know where to put things. Well, you know, it's like everything else. Practice makes perfect. You don't know until you actually start putting it down. But you don't have to glue things down straight away. You know, you can, like I've done with the dolls, you can just audition pieces first. Lay it down dry, and then when you're happy or think it looks good, then you glue it down. There's no law says you've got to do it straight away. Is there? Okay, so we'll start building up these pieces now. So first one, because it's a non-stick mat, you know, you can stick these things down and then, yeah, put that there. It's got to have something there for him to be resting on anyway, so that's fine. So I think with this one we'll put a ticket. So that can go behind them there. And your head, love. Thank you. And because they're not super tacky or super sticky, if you get it down wrong, you can always pull it back up again. So for this one, I'm going to do a little small one that can go just behind his head, like that. And then for her, we'll have one of the watch pieces. So that can go like a little bit of a halo. Let's try a different colour. Yeah, that's better. I like that because you've got the word 25 there, plus you've got the numbers, so that kind of fits. She'll need to have something to sit on, which is cool. So let's see now, the witches, I'm going to put the larger clock behind them. Again, kind of framing the heads. Doesn't matter that it goes over the top of the book text. Don't matter at all. Oh, come on. Jumping on your broomsticks there. And then for the boys, I think we'll put that number 35. But do it that. Should we do it that way? Yeah, there I think. Okay, so now I'm going to start sticking down some of the insects. So I think the small bug, no actually, right, let's just save those bugs a little bit till last. Okay, so I'm going to start again right to left. So just put a few little clusters. So we'll have that down there. You can go about there. Yep. Like in that one, pull those down. That little clock, I think, can go just like that. And then the keyhole, I think, is what I'm going to use for him. For that to be resting on. Okay, so before we go any further with that, I just want to just darken that up. Okay. Next. Right, so she needs to be sitting on something, so I think we're going to be getting her to sit on that. So if I put her there and then lay that back down there, we'll know that's better. Okay, and then take the bug there for the witches, and we'll have that butterfly or moth if you like, have that behind there. That one can go behind the boys. Other clock. Let's see. Let's put, because that needs to be resting on something. I want to rest that one on the larger clock actually. There. And then put that other bug about there. You can see how it's easy, well, I say easy, but you can start building up your layers and your layers. So sometimes you get to the point where you think, actually, I don't want to add any more. And I'm getting to that point now where I think I've still got to add my words. So I think maybe the boys, something down there. I think they're okay. The witches are alright. Does she need anything else? Maybe. Just something just to maybe soften that edge. Yeah, I think that will do it. So do we need to add I think that's about it. Don't think I'm going to use those two. So I'm going to put them back. Stick those back on the sheet. Big bug. Actually, I don't like that keyhole where I've put it. The fact that I've coloured it in, don't like it. May not like it, so it can come off. And I'm going to replace that with something else for him. So I think what we'll do is put, what else have we got? What else can we use? I think the word toxic is going to be too big. What else we got? Yeah. Could have kept that in the first place. And then he can stand just like that. Okay. I think we're ready now to stick down our peeps. That's one. It'd be a lot easier if you had one of them Xyron machines. You could just run these guys through, couldn't you? Put those two up there. May have to invest in one of them Xyron machines, I think. Okay. So you're sitting on there, so we can see that worm, the word, warning, the worm. Okay, ladies. I can't remember whether it was last year or the year before when I used the paper dolls the first time they were brought out, and I named all the characters. A couple of years ago now, I think. Stick down, there you go. I think kids at Halloween are far creepier than adults, for sure. For sure. Right, let's bring them back. Cool. Alright, so I need to just get these, or let these to dry for a little bit, put a bit of weight on them just to hold them down because they're a tendency to curl up. So I just need a little bit of weight on them. So I'll let them dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, so it's now about an hour later. I stopped for lunch. Well, I was hungry. You can't fault me for that, can you? Anyway, so to finish off then, I've got some black cardstock and I've just cut out some little kind of pointy hats, small pointy hats that I'm going to add onto the rest of the characters apart from obviously the witches because they've already got their own. So I'm just going to grab, I've just done them in different sizes, so I'm just going to work out which size. Say that one's okay for her, so I'll just add a little bit of glue. So this is when I should have invested in some tweezers, and I'll just stick that down like so. So she's got a little black cap on, and then for the boys, a little bit on that one. And then on this one, they are a bit fiddly, but you know, no pain, no gain. It's a good job this glue dries completely clear, isn't it? Push that further down on his head a little. There we go. And he's moved. There we go on there. they've already got. He's got a little bit of a bigger head. Let's just make that a little bit more pointy. A little bit of glue. That's it, let's stick it at a bit of an angle. Because we can. So I'll move him, and then we've got the young Milady here. Now I know he's already wearing a hat, but if we just stick this over the top, which is actually just going to disguise it a little bit. There. And that one. And then on the two weird sisters, she's got a bow, but if we're careful, we can actually pop one between. It's almost like a Mickey Mouse hat. And the last one, teeny bit of glue, fiddly-ats. There. So they're each now wearing little pointy hats. Okay, so while that's sitting there, we can then start adding our word blocks. So for the witches, we've got one that says Witch Market. These are from that same set that we got all the other background bits from. So we've got one that says Mischief. So you can have that young man. So let's just move those two out of the way because they're dunded. So that leaves us with this four. So I've now got one that says a strange visitor. So I think we'll do that one down there for her, like that. And then we've got I heard a strange noise, so that can be him. And then we've got lost in the inky darkness. And we'll put that across there. And then finally, we've got looked a bit frightened. Okay, so because they were stickers, they just don't need any glue. And I'll just grab a little bit of distressing and just grunge them up a little bit while they're in situ. Just tones down the colour a little. Don't need any on that one. Like those a lot. Okay, so now it's time, when the glue's dry, just to do one final thing before then it's time to add on the stickers on the back to say what they are. So let the hats just dry a little bit and then I'll be right back. On 5, 4. Okay, so I've printed off the backs for my ATC cards. I've already pre-filmed them out, filled them out on the computer. I apart from the numbers which I've written in by hand. So I'm just going to pop those to one side for now, because there's one little job that I have to do before I put those on the back. Now, those of you that have followed me for a while now will know that when I do projects like this, you see these laminated paper dolls and the shine that you get on them. I don't really like that shine. It's not, you know, a huge problem. It's just, I don't like it. It just looks cheap and nasty to me. So the way I get round that is by using this. So Art Basics clear gesso, or any clear gesso pretty much. So let's move that to one side. And all I'm going to do is just grab a brush and I'm going to just paint over the entire of the card. And if there's any shine on any of the surfaces, it will remove it. So let me just quickly dry that one off and you'll be able to see exactly what I mean. Before and after. Perhaps I should have shown you the shine on the one that I actually held up to the camera first. Duh. Okay, pretty dry. So now when I hold it up to the light, you can see there's no shine on any of it at all. So let's just do one. Let's do it over the witches. Now let's see if I can get right there. There, can you see the reflection? I had it then. There we go. That reflection there on the witches. So just grab some gesso and I'm just going to paint over the entire the front. Okay, and then I'll just quickly dry it. Of course, it's clear, so okay, so now when I hold it up to the light, it's a little bit, but not much. And I can always get over that by just doing another coat over the girls. Maybe go in a different direction this time. Because it's clear, you can do it as many times as you want to get rid of that shine. Let's hold it up again. There we go. No shine at all now, not even a little bit. That's picked up something on that brush. I don't know what that was. There we go. So no shine at all on the witches anymore, which is brilliant. So I'm just going to quickly whip over all of them to remove any of that shine. I mean, if you're okay with the shine, obviously it's not something that you really need to do, but I just don't particularly like it. I prefer my projects to have a matte finish. There you go. So, shine eliminated. So one of the last things that I want to do now before sticking on those is just add some splatters. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of white paint, just a tiny amount. I don't want a huge amount of this. Mix up a little bit of water. And then I'm going to do this en masse. Now then, got a little bit on her face, so I'm just going to wipe that off. There we go. A few little white splatters, and again, just quickly dry that off. They will dye back quite nicely. A little bit of interest in the background. Okay, so those little white splatters have now all dried and have disappeared into the background. I kind of unified everything together, so that's cool. So all I have to do now is just to flip over the cards, and then I can start to add my back to each one. And I'll try and get them, he says, I'll try and get them in the middle. There we go. Just give it a rub. So 1 of 6. Let's see if you can get the backs off. There we go. Two of 6. So I'll do the other 4 and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we are. Each one has its sticker on the back, individually numbered, dated, says when it was made, what it was made for. So title, Mini Mischief Makers, 29th of October 2019, number 3 of 6, 2 of 6, 1 of 6, 4, 5, 6. And it's got my email, website address, and the info is what it was done with. So 7 days of Halloween, October, day 5. There you go. And I think just to finish each one of these off, because I always end up sending them off through the post, normally I put these into website orders. When people buy from me, I normally add I'll put one of these in, so the first 6 people after Halloween, or when this goes out, that orders, I'll normally send one of these out. I will actually just sign the back as well. Yeah, you go. So that's all 6 signed. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed watching me put these ATCs together, just using those bits and pieces from the Tim Holtz papers, the paper dolls, the sticker collection, and a little bit of book text and black card. And a tiny bit of paint and gesso. So I hope you've enjoyed those. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. So that's all from me. I'll see you all again for day 6. Bye for now.